people actually want to succeed, but those who actually do are very small. What kind of people then succeed? Good-looking people? Smart people? Rich people? The academic ones, those who have high degrees? Should one be healthy to be successful? There are quite a lot of people who actually think that one must have such qualities in order to succeed. I didn't graduate from a prestigious school. I wasn't good in school. I'm not physically attractive. I'm not even that smart. That's why I won't be able to succeed. Many people already decide that they are not successful, that they are a failure. They limit themselves. In most cases, people fail because they put a box around themselves. People who don't box themselves in are those that believe that they could break out of this mold. Put a flea in a ball and put a glass cover on the top of it. Fleas naturally love to jump. They are naturally jumpers from birth. Let's say the flea jumps, but it hits its head on the glass cover. It will then drop back on the ground. The flea will then try to leap again, but then it will fall back down, and this flea would be trained not to be able to jump out of the ball. Later, even when the glass cover is lifted, it will only be able to jump as high as the ball. It has created a glass ceiling for itself. The glass ceiling is like the rankings in school. In reality, your school rank has nothing to do with your future success. But in Korea, we rank our students, right? There is always number one and the last. There is only one spot for number one. Are there more people who are good at studying or not? There are way more people who are not good at studying. I was actually one of them as well. So I was very frustrated with myself. I was so frustrated. Do you know when I found out I was talented, it was during training in the military. I realized that I could be number one at something. Since that time, the glass ceiling was gone. Statistics show what kind of person will be successful and what kind of person will not be successful. Usually, people prepare from age 0, up to age 30 by studying. From age 30 to 60s, people works. And then from 60 to 90, people spend their life of retirement. But there is a rumor these days that people will live until 120 years old. This right here is 60 years. This is terrible news for some. If you live for 60 years without no money, this is a curse. This becomes a curse for the elderly. What follows when you grow old? It's diseases. If you live until 120 years old, but have all kind of diseases, that's terrible. You will probably live at least until 90 years old. Still, this is 30 years. However, statistics show that most people at 60 years old, only 1% of those people are rich. These people are considered successful. 4% of the population have no trouble financially. They are not rich, but they don't have to ask for help from other people. 15% of the people pass away. And 10% of the population barely get by. They live from hand to mouth. They can't become rich and they just earn that mouth the bare necessities. The remaining 70% are the problem. These people live the rest of their life with no money nor work. It's an old statistics and it's from another country, so there might be a little bit of differences in our country, but the most important thing is that only 5% are financially stable. The remaining 95% do not end up well. However, all people start studying at the same time. They study for about 30 years. Why is it that so many people are not successful when they've prepared by studying for 30 years and have worked hard for 30 years? Why is it that only a few people are able to achieve success? A lot of people try to solve this question, and one of those people was Carnegie. Carnegie was born in a poor family, but he eventually became incredibly rich. Even today, the Carnegie Foundation does a lot of good things for people who are in difficult situations. Having become successful from a poor family, he wondered if he were born again, could he become rich once again? Or would he live a life of failure like everyone else? And he concluded that even if he were born again in a poor family, he could be rich and successful, whether that be repeated 10 or 100 times. The reason why he thought this was because he knew how to succeed. He knew the method of how to be successful. That's why he was certain he would be successful again. In the same vein, he thought that many people could not be successful because they didn't know the law of success. That's why he thought that he should let the people know how to be successful. In conclusion, people do not succeed because they do not know the laws of success. Laws are something that is already fixed, like laws of nature. The laws of success is like that of the laws of nature. It's already fixed. It's like the laws of farming. Have any of you farmed before? Even if you haven't, you probably understand what it's looked like. What's the first thing that a farmer must do? Some people say they have to plow the land. Some said no, he has to prepare the seed. Some said he needs the money to buy the seed. He needs equipment and tools. People have many ideas, but in fact, the first thing a farmer must do is to decide how much of what he will reap. Will he reap 10 sacks of rice or 2 sacks of peanut or 1 sack of sweet potato? Depending on the final product, they will determine what he will do. The process of planting peanuts and rice is totally different. Everything will be different, including what kind of seed the farmer will buy depending on the final product that's in the farmer's mind. The 10 sacks of rice that was in farmer's mind will end up where? During the harvest and fall, the rice will go to the storage. Where then did those rice come from? It originated from the mind of the farmer. If there's no rice in the mind of the farmer, the 10 sacks of rice would have never entered the farmer's storage. This means that you need to draw in your mind what position you will be in 3 to 5 years in this farm of life. The end goal must be in your mind. Then next question is, what will your success look like? What kind of life do you want to live? I'm sure a lot of things is going inside of your head right now. That's because human minds are quite complicated. We have a body, the physical part, But this body does not explain everything about you. For example, are all good-looking people good people? Not at all. If that's true, then I should be a good person. That's obvious. You can't say that a person is good just by looking at their outward appearance. That's because your body does not tell everything about you. This body of ours is just our physical house. Inside this house, there is a soul and spirit. Many times we think of these two things as the same thing, but they can in fact be differentiated. Lastly, we are surrounded by our environment. In this body that we live in, there is a soul and spirit. The first thing that the body requires is health. And to live well for a long time. And then there is the desire to live abundantly. All of this could be summarized as to live well. Our body have the desire to live well. Then there is the spirit. The spirit is different from the soul. Animals don't have spirits, just soul. For example, the conscious is connected to the spirits. The conscience is not something that we could control. For example, a robber is wanting to rob somebody. The robber's hands will shake. Their hands shake even if no one is seeing that because of their conscience telling them, you shouldn't steal, that's wrong.
So the robber will know that is the bad thing. This is the conscience. The spirit also has the concept of time. Animals have no concept of time. That is why to them the future and the past is the same. But humans are different. Humans have a concept of time. Have you seen a dog that worries because its life is almost over? Dogs have no worries. They just eat and sleep. It lies on its back. Humans, however, start to wonder after their life, what would happen? The Bible says that God has given the concept of time. Animals have no concept of time. They do not long for eternity because they have no spirit. Now I will tell you about a conscience. We have a desire to be loved by our Creator who made us, and also a desire to love Him. Humans must also have loving relationships. If this need is not fulfilled, it doesn't matter how much money or fame they have, there's a longing for something inside the human heart. The next is our soul. All of our emotions are mixed in our life. Emotions such as joy, anger, sorrow. This is the emotions side of things. Then there is a desire for knowledge. The desire to know the unknown. All of these must be filled. If these appetites are not filled, then you will be overcome. Then you will feel empty. You must also control your emotions. If you hate others and get upset easy over little things, do you think you will feel satisfied when you die or not? You will regret, and we regret that you lost many things. Humans have the desire to live a life of peace. And humans want to know the unknown. This is the function of the soul. Also, humans have the desire to want to contribute to their surrounding environment. Humans want to give back something good to their natural or social environment. On your deathbed, if you think you were useless to other people or to the society, then you will foster a lifelong regret. Humans have a natural longing to do good in this world. How do you feel when you help others? After helping someone, you realize you have received much more than you have given them. This is a desire, that is a high-level desire. When all of these categories are satisfied, That is when a balanced life is fulfilled. Can you repeat after me? A balanced life. You have a balanced life when you are able to satisfy all four of these needs. Repeat after me again. To live well, to love, to learn, contribute. What kind of life is this? Is this a balanced life? You must draw in your mind a goal of achieving a balanced life, meeting all the four needs. However, all four of these needs are not independent from each other. They are all connected into one. The reason why you must live well is because of your loved ones. Your wife is poor because you are poor. Your husband's life is hard because you earn little money, and your poverty will be passed down to your children. Then you should live well and gain success, even if it's just for your children. All of these are interconnected. You must have a good life because you have loved ones. In order to have a good life, one must learn. In this sweet spot, where you consider all four of these needs, that's where true passion comes from. Actually, people who have no passion in their hearts are those who have cold hearts. You have no passion because you have no love. The company does not require you to have capital. It's not like you need to have a degree either. You don't need a high-end skill. There's no age limit either. You've probably heard from a lot of people today that you can indeed succeed in Atomy with just passion. If this rings true for you, then you should give all that you've got. You should commit yourself to it. Up until now, you might have wanted to become successful, but you couldn't because of the lack of a degree, or because of your old age, or maybe you couldn't start a business because you don't have money. Maybe you couldn't make money because you lacked skill. In Atomy, you don't need any of those in order to succeed. If you have a longing to give everything you've got, then you are someone who has a fire inside your heart. This is possible because you have love. If you have loved ones in your family, then your passion must boil inside your heart, even if it requires going through hard trials. However, if you don't have love, you have no passion either. I also experienced very difficult times. I quit my job as an employee and started an online department store. It was a high-tech online mall. Though I had set up an amazing mall, the people were, after 3 years, the company started to face a lot of difficulties, so it was closed. I had to sell my house, my car, and everything else. I didn't have anything with me. Many times, when a company fails, the leader of the company gets sick because of the stress. I was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis, and my friend, who was a doctor, told me to stop working. Our family moved to a run-down house and lived there for a few years. I would have tried to do something if I had at least a good health, but my body was not really good in a good condition, so my wife had to go outside to earn money. I felt like I was trapped in a cave. When we were in such dark times, coincidentally, I came across Hemohim and Atomy's cosmetic products. I wasn't able to move, and I didn't even have the money to sign a contract for the company. I had nothing. So somehow I thought across my thought, I thought that this is something that I can try. There was a thin light at the end of the cave. It was difficult to even head towards the light because I was so sick. Though I was surrounded with darkness at the time, and I was against all odds, I knew I had to go towards the light, because if I just laid there, my wife would have to live on a $1,500 every month. all children couldn't really finish their education, I also realized that there are a lot of people like me, and that's why I wish that those people would be successful as well. So it was a glimmer of hope, but I kept walking towards the light. I could not just stay put. I wanted to collapse on the ground, but as I approached that light at the end, that small light started to become bigger. And soon I had excited into a world that was full of light. I had gone out into a world that was sparkling bright. That's when I thought that I had to live well, even if it's just for my mother. This is true for all of us. Maybe we must make money not for ourselves, but for our family members, for our children, for our loved ones as well. Actually, you don't need that much money just for yourself. Men especially don't need that much money. If a man is spending too much money, he is probably sinning. If you have a house, a car, and a few suits, a few neckties, a few shoes, then there's not much else to buy. Women are a little bit different. Even pearl necklaces, they have to buy necklaces like diamond ones and gold necklaces. The pearl necklaces have different types with 1, 2, 3 lines, and they have skirts and dresses as well. For women, spending money is no sin. Women need to spend more money than men. Men really have no excuse to spend money. Is it then a good thing to spend money and give your loved ones or not? It's a good thing. That's why you must succeed, because of your loved ones. I'd like to tell the women, ladies right here, to have pity, because men in our country have to wake up early and work till late at night. One person once said that there is a song that he hates. It's the song with the lyrics that keep going. He said he hated the song. Why? Because he was already working so hard, but to hear the words keep going was really discouraging him. He said he wanted to hear, "Dad, get some rest, we are here now." He said, "Why can't they sing such a song? All the ladies in the house, you should tell your husband, 'Honey, just wait 3 years and you will be able to rest.'" When I was working for a company, I always lacked sleep. On weekends and holidays, I would just sleep anywhere, on the bed, on the sofa, and even on the floor. I worked day and night, and I lacked sleep all the time. I'm sure most of you hope that your husbands, who have to carry your family's burdens, could just rest now. If you make $20,000, $30,000 a month, you'll be able to tell your husbands to rest, right? So please tell your husbands to just rest and tell them to do what they want. Who do you think will be happier then? You will actually be happier. You will become a very important person to your husband, right? Tell your husband, "Ride the car you want, honey. I know you were embarrassed in front of your friends before. I'll buy you a Mercedes." You can say this to your husband. What happens when you buy your husband a Mercedes? Do you think whom will be happier? You will be happier. What about the man in this building? Why don't you buy your wife's or maybe your mother's? On a special day, a convertible sports car. Why don't you do that? The reason why some people cannot do that is because they don't even think that would happen. I actually have a passion for cars. Having worked in the industry, I have a very high level dream. One day, I was sleeping, during your first love. I could not sleep because of the car. So at 1 a.m. in the morning, I got out of bed and went to the store that sold the Mercedes S-Class. All the lights were off and I just peeked from outside the window. I saw a rough silhouette and I was so happy just looking at the car from outside. My heart was filled with peace and I was about to go back to bed. You know what you call this kind of person? Crazy. But you know what? You must be crazy. If you are going to be crazy, you need a goal. This is called an absolute goal. I would go crazy if only I could achieve this. I won't regret it even if I die trying to achieve this. It would be worth dying for this. You need to be at this level. You need to have this kind of goal. The question is, what is inside your mind? This is the principles of success. You must first draw a mental picture of your life after you've gained success in order for that mental picture to become a reality, and all the people will see this. In 5 years or in 10 years or in 20 years, your life will not be different or even worse. Each and every one of you will be given a form now. It will be your life scenario. So you can put your name here, and on the sheet you will find marks on it. You will have those dots here. Make sure that you include at least one of the four for example, house. Housing is something many people face trouble. So write down your goal for housing. Then you could write down for your health and your car. And cars are a necessity as well. Next, write down love. You could write down feel your duty for your parents, and voluntary work for the contribution and for the knowledge. For learning, you can write down your children's education. Traveling, this is very essential for live well. And cash for some people. Let's say after writing them down, for example, for housing, I want to live in 230 square meter house, but I am living in 100 square meter house. Then you can give yourself 30 points out of 100. You must be very specific when you write down your goals. Second, your goals must be quantifiable. And third, you need a timeline. You must keep these three conditions. You must decide what kind of house it is you want until a certain deadline. You must also know the value and the kind of house. And also you must decide where this house is located. If you just write down a good house, you will never have the house. For example, if you go to an agent and say, I want to buy a good house, that's not very serious. You should know the exact price, the number of rooms, the number of bedrooms you would have to become truly serious about your dreams. So you should have that house in your mind to actually live in the house. This is the laws of success. All the successful people are talking about. The reason why you are not having this life is because you didn't really draw that dreams in your mind. But if you do so, then your attitude will change. You can be successful because of your thoughts. The company Atomy also came from my mind. I knew from the beginning that many of you would flock here. I predicted that we would be a global company. You don't succeed because you don't draw anything in your mind. Just draw the life you want to live in your mind. Have you imagined a house that is 230 square meters? You haven't. Maybe you did imagine it, but you shake it off by saying, I'm crazy. There's no way I will be able to live in that such house. And you erase all of your hopes and dreams in your mind. What's the reason you are not able to acquire a 230 square meter house? It's because you erased that dream in your mind and you live in a boring life. You have chosen that boring life. How will someone like me earn that much money? Young people who makes the $3,000, $7,000, it is very competitive. If it's only $3K, then that would be realistic for me, but I don't really want to compete with those young people. If you think like that, then you will keep living a boring life. So who are meant to earn such money? No one are meant to be so. Then you yourself can do that, can make that fate you can to become such successful. This is what many people call laws of success, and those who know the law can become successful one every time. So please draw a very clear picture of your dream in your mind. This is the necessary for your success, and you can become successful if you do that.
Let's see the examples. This person has written down a house, car, failure duty. You must be very specific with your goal. This person has also marked the satisfaction level. It would be good to make 5-year plan. There are many copies of the same form in the live scenario. By rewriting your goals every month, you will be able to have a clearer and more perfect picture of the life that you want to live in the future. If you do that, your life will change. Many scholars in the field of success say that just by imagining, you could be successful. But here in Atomy, on the top of imagining your future, you even provide a letter that could bridge your reality with your dreams. There are many people who are gaining success through Atomy. This concludes my lecture. Thank you very much.